Alright, I know I'm about 2 years late on making this review, even though I kind of gave like a quick summary about what I thought about Blue Beetle in a movie vlog. I posted a month late, back in 2023. Also, I really wanted to showcase my Funko Pop for this review, as I like to show off Funko Pops anytime I'm about to review a movie or a TV show or even a video game. Like, for example, I'm going to try to show off this Funko Pop when I review the Terrifier trilogy. Well, not trilogy, because we're getting a fourth movie in 2026 next year. As that's also another video I am about late making. I am so behind on a lot of videos I've been meaning to make for the last 5 years. But hey, like I mentioned a while back in one of my videos, half the ideas I came up with for YouTube videos I just threw out the window in the garbage. While the other half, I would very much like to have them posted on the channel. So with that being said, hello everyone, welcome back to another movie review on the channel. Today is August 18th, 2025. It's now been officially 2 years since we had gotten Blue Beetle in theaters, as that movie was originally supposed to go on HBO Max. But slightly off topic, there is another superhero project that did came out on the same day except 3 years ago, and that would be She-Hulk. As I'm about 3 years late, I'm posting my thoughts with She-Hulk Attorney at Law. So I'll post my review on She-Hulk later today after I post my review for Blue Beetle, because this video is way too important. Now, I may not have a She-Hulk shirt, but I'm glad to have a Blue Beetle shirt, especially for this video. Oh, wait a minute, there is one more prop I should bring out. Be right back. Alright, yeah, you know what, we'll just do it like that. This is like the only popcorn bucket or prop or what, it's mainly a cup, but it's the only thing I own. I know they had cool popcorn buckets for Blue Beetle, but yeah. With Peacemaker Season 2 coming out this week, now's the perfect time to post my 3-part quadruple review on my thoughts with all of the DCEU movies. Since I had only reviewed Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, and the Snyder Cut when Superman was coming out about a month ago. And even though this is kinda DCEU canon, I'm considering it DCU canon, okay? But yeah, I will also post my review on Peacemaker Season 1, as I'm also 3 years late on posting a review on that. And then later this Thursday, I will be posting a review / reaction video of me watching the rest of the episodes of Creature Commandos, as I'm super late on making. Because both Creature Commandos and Superman, along with the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker Season 1, are required viewing for Season 2 of Peacemaker. But with all that out of the way, now let's discuss my thoughts on Blue Beetle. I gotta say, I'm honestly disappointed with myself, specifically how I didn't rewatch this movie last August, as the last time I watched Blue Beetle was 2 years ago, specifically in theaters. I wanted to rewatch the movie, it was on my mind, yet what the hell was I doing last August? I had gotten back from visiting my family in Florida about a couple weeks ago, but as you can see, this is not my regular room. Well, if it isn't obvious, I've moved to an apartment. No, I'm not living by myself. I know I'm 18 and technically an illegal and adult, but I'm sorry. I'm not ready. I'm not there yet. I'm not prepared to be living out on my own. Eventually, I will move out. Alright, I was kinda moving into a new apartment. Anyways, 2023 may have been a depressing year for DC, specifically where the movies would be flopping at the box office thanks to James Gunn announcing a soft reboot for the DC universe earlier that year. But out of all 4 DCEU movies we had gotten in 2023, Blue Beetle is the best DC movie for me and my personal favorite. Now, like I mentioned earlier, this is technically canon to the DC Extended Universe, which bugs me, but honestly, I'm not gonna give 2 shits about that because I'm considering this canon to the DCU. Plus, it fits well in that universe, as this movie is set in its own world once you watch the film. Now, even though James Gunn isn't gonna have this movie be canon, I am glad he's keeping Jaime Reyes' Blue Beetle along with his family to be part of the DCU, as we will see him again in an animated series on HBO Max sometime in the distant future. Now, even though this movie didn't perform well at the box office, I'm glad that this wasn't dumped on HBO Max, but what breaks my heart the most about this movie was the fact that the actors couldn't promote the film due to the Hollywood strike that was happening during 2023 that lasted from July to November. And yeah, maybe they should have delayed it so that the actors could promote the movie. But I wouldn't be happy about that, as I was highly anticipating to see this movie for 2023. But I was supporting this movie since day one. Well, maybe not day one, but I was part of the Blue Beetle Battalion, if you're aware of what that was at the time. Point I'm trying to get at was that I was a huge supporter for this movie. Like, I was hyping this shit up when I heard that this would be going to theaters instead of HBO Max. Then once we got set leak photos of the suit being practical in the movie, which, oh my god, it is absolute perfection. I freaking love the Blue Beetle suit. It's also one of my favorite superhero costumes I've seen on screen. Overall, I was showing my support for this movie since the actors couldn't promote it during the Hollywood strike. Now let's discuss pros and cons. The score was awesome to listen to, especially that Blue Beetle theme, as I would listen to that on a loop. And actually, that was the most listened song I had for Spotify Wrapped in 2023, I believe. I was listening to that shit for hours, and I would play the theme, but I would get a copyright claim for this video. I also loved the Reyes family, especially Rudy, who's played by George Lopez, who I was happy to see him in the movie, because I don't know when was the last time I saw George Lopez in a movie. But I really loved Zolomon Aduena as Jaime Reyes, aka Blue Beetle. I enjoyed the action in this movie, along with the scenes we get between Jamie and Jenny Cord. But what I enjoyed the most from this movie was how there were certain moments in the film that had reminded me of other superhero movies like Iron Man, Shazam, even Spider-Man. And maybe Miss Marvel and the Incredible Hulk. No, seriously, that's what I written down on my letterbox 2 years ago, as of today. Well, as of yesterday, mainly, because I saw it early as possible in IMAX. But yeah, this movie gives off heavy vibes of Shazam, mainly for the Reyes family, Iron Man for the villains, and Spider-Man for the final act. The only negatives I have for Blue Beetle are the villains, as I'm not a fan of Victoria Court specifically. But the actress does a great job in the movie where you despise her character as she's selfish and wants to make weapons for money, which honestly reminded me of Obadiah Stane from the first Iron Man movie, but I liked Carapax a lot more than Victoria Court. Mainly for his quick backstory we get at the end of the movie that got me to sympathize with him a bit. Overall, I still love this movie 2 years later. It's one of my favorite movies that was released in 2023 as it's on my top 10. But since this is technically part of the DCEU, I would say that is definitely one of my personal favorites from the DC Extended Universe, but I'm still considering this canon to the DCU. Because when I went to go see this movie in IMAX, I went in having a mindset that this was not part of the DC Extended Universe, but part of James Gunn's new DCU. And we do get mentions of Superman, Batman, and The Flash, but when Jaime Reyes mentioned about Superman, I was not thinking about Henry Cavill's Superman, but instead David Cornsweet's Superman. Even though he is technically referring to Henry Cavill's Superman because of this being part of the DC Extended Universe, but I'm still considering it canon to the DCU, alright? But when this movie was coming out, I was watching every piece of DC content that featured Blue Beetle, and I remember something from Season 2 of Young Justice focusing a lot more on Blue Beetle, and it was cool seeing his weapons be brought into live action, but whatever I saw in Young Justice Season 2, I need to see it be adapted into live action for the DCU, because I need to see not only Green Beetle, but Black Beetle badly. The lore got me so invested, I now want to see it happen in the DCU, so I can't wait to see Jaime Reyes as Blue Beetle once again, whenever he finally returns, whether that's in the big screen or small screen, which honestly I would love it if we got another movie, but since we're getting an anime series, I should be happy about it, because at least he's sticking around for the DCU, which, thank you, James Gunn. But there's still hope for him to show up again on the big screen, but it won't be in a Blue Beetle sequel, but instead a team-up movie, as we are supposed to be getting a Teen Titans movie in the DCU. Unless that's put on hold or been canceled, unless The Authority was the movie that got canceled. I don't know. I just know that we're supposed to be getting a Teen Titans movie. Which, hey, I'll take it! Now, I still have my Blue Beetle helmet. Sadly, not my costume, as my Nana threw that out along with my other costumes I made for the past couple of other movies in the last 4 years, when she came to help me clean out my room during spring break last April. Well, I'm not happy that she threw away most of my costumes I had worked hard on making for a couple of superhero movies. I'm happy I still have this now. It may have gotten damaged a bit, but I'm still happy with how this turned out. Alright, to turn it on, let's see if it still fits. Ah! It still fits! Ow! My ears! Holy shit! It's... what? I have a very loud voice when I have this on. Wow. I think I may have gone deaf. Holy shit. I don't know if you could properly hear me with this thing on, but if I had to give Blue Beetle a rating, back then I was going in expecting to give it like an 8.5 out of 10. Then, once I saw it, I was like back and forth with a 9 or 8.5 out of 10, but I had a lot of fun with this movie. It's not only one of my favorite movies that was released in 2023, but it's also one of my favorite DC movies, so it's still a 10 out of 10 for me. And yeah, I can't wait to see Blue Beetle again later in the DCU, as I'm so glad James Gunn is keeping him in the universe. But be sure to let me know your thoughts, thumbs up below on Blue Beetle. You can watch the movie on HBO Max, and hope you guys enjoy this review. As always, I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.